Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. How great was Eddie Harari? Let's give him a big round of applause. And to Saul Werdiger and Aguda, thank you for your leadership, Saul, and your generosity. Councilman David Greenfield, he's powerful, isn't he? Let's give him a round of applause. To Assemblyman Dov Hikind, who has been a champion for your community and many communities and a role model for many of us. Dov Hikind. Assemblyman Steve Simbrowitz, who's with us today. Thank you very much for your leadership, Steve. Malcolm Homeline, who is an international champion for the Jewish community. It's a pleasure to be with him. Abe Eisner, pleasure to be with Abe. I am very excited. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited about the energy in this room. I'm excited about the leadership on this stage and the power that is in this room. We can't be here to talk about a more important issue, and the issue is education and access to education. And there is nothing more important today in my job or my life as a parent or a citizen than education. State does a lot of things. Transportation, economic development, human services, we do a lot. The single most important function is education. Your community has appreciated this historically. But more and more, it's about education for everyone. It's not like the economy 20 years ago or 30 years ago, where you could do it without education and you could find something else to do that would lead you to a decent life. Now it's all about skills. You want to be an auto mechanic? You need an education. You want to be a technical tradesperson? You need an education. And it has to be a world-class education. As you heard from Assemblyman Hikind, we've been very aggressive in reforming and investing in public education. Largest state investment in public education in history was this year, over $20 billion, and I'm proud of it. We're investing to get good teachers into public education. First time ever, top graduate from college, if they give us 5 years as a public school teacher, will pay their college tuition 100%. First time ever. Public school teachers who are high performers, first time ever, $20,000 bonus on top of their salary, which will be paid for by the state. The average salary is $60,000, a $20,000 bonus on top of their annual salary. So no one can say that we have not been robust in our support for public education. We have been. Why? 85% of the students in the school go to public education. And that's what we need to invest in, and that's what we did. But that's only the beginning of the story. If you want to go to public school, God bless you. But education, you should have a choice. And your parents should have a choice. If you want to go to public school, go to public school. If you want to go to a religious school, go to a religious school. If you want to go to a private school, go to a private school. If you want to go to a charter school, go to a charter school. But the choice should be yours. My father decided, he took one look at me when I was a young fella, and he said, "You're going to religious school." He could tell right away I needed the religious training. He happened to be right. And I went to a parochial school. And that choice is important. That choice is everything in this society. It's your child, it's your child's life, it's your family's decision. But for your family to have a decision, it has to be a real decision. And that's why when I was talking to Saul, I wanted to talk to them about the Italian concept of mishpocha. There's another Italian concept I want to talk to them about, which is called tzedakah. It's a famous Italian tradition. Have you heard of it? Now, people will say tzedakah means charity. It's been used to mean charity, but the deeper definition is what Assemblyman Hyken said. It's about justice. It's about justice. And in this society, if you're going to have a choice in education, it has to be a real choice. Which means what? Which means the religious schools have to exist. And more religious schools all around the state are closing because they can't sustain themselves financially. Meaning if it's a real choice, you have to be able to afford it. And if you're paying public taxes with one hand, and then you have to pay private tuition with the other, it's no longer affordable, especially in this economy, especially if you have more than one child going to school. So if you can't afford the choice, you don't really have the choice. And that is not justice. If the religious organizations can't afford it, that's not justice. So what we've been talking about for years, literally, is an education system which is making the most important decision, which is where your child goes to school, that is truly affording choice. And that's what the education tax credit is all about. The education tax credit says this: for the first time ever, if you are sending your child to a religious school and paying tuition, the state will give you a tax credit for a portion of the tuition that you're paying, so you'll get money back from the state for a private tuition. It says for the first time, it says for the first time ever, the state will offer tax credit for religious organizations where you can give a religious organization a donation. You'll get a credit back if that religious organization uses the money for a scholarship for a low-income student to go to that school. It says, and what it says is every teacher in a public or a private school gets $200 tax credit from the state because that teacher is bringing material supplies into the classroom, and that teacher is actually helping educate students, and we want to support teachers at the same time. Now, we know this is right. We know that it is fair. We know that it is justice. And we know that we've been trying to get it done for years and years and years. And that brings me back to my father, who did have a beautiful relationship with your community. And I started with my father, I was in my teens. So I lived a lot of my father's career with him. And his love for your community was, talk about kishkas, it was decades long, it was real, it was genuine. He was there for you, and you were there for him. It was a genuine and beautiful relationship. And my father would be so proud of today. This issue meant so much to him for so long. And we fought this fight for so many years, and we've never gotten it done. But this year is going to be different. My father used to use an expression, a gesture that he would just make to me, that somebody would be talking or would meet somebody, and then we'd say afterwards, what do you think about that person? And he would go like this. What he meant by this was, all he does is talk. All he does is talk. Meaning that a lot of elected officials, what Dov was saying, a lot of elected officials talk. I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you, I support you, we tried, we fight the good fight. I put out a press release that says I support your position. I gave a speech that says I support your position. If it ever came to the floor, I would have voted for it. I love that one. They do that in Albany all the time. If it came to the floor, I would have voted for it. Unfortunately, it never came to the floor, so I never voted for it. That's this. That is talking. We are not here to talk, my friends. Government is a service bureau. Government is about getting things done. Government is an active agent and vehicle for justice. That's what government is all about, to make justice happen. We are not going to talk about this year. We are going to get it done this year. Now, and we're going to say to your elected officials, don't tell me how hard you worked. Don't tell me how you would have voted if it came to the floor. Make it happen. You say to every assembly person and every senator, you want my vote? I want your vote, and I want your vote on the education tax credit. And if I don't have your vote, you don't have my vote. That's how life works. Now, I've been talking to the legislators. You know whose voice is more powerful than mine? Doves. After Doves, you know whose voice is more powerful? Yours. They will listen to you. We set up a website that says Invest in Education ED. Invest in Ed. Invest in Ed. You go to that website, you put in your address, it automatically sends an email to your assemblyman and senator. They will listen to you. Politicians have very good hearing. Do you know that? Oh, it's a fact. Because if they have bad hearing, they're not politicians for long. That's how it works. It's a form of natural selection. If they don't hear how the people in their district want them to vote, then they are voted out of office. That's natural selection in politics. You invest in ED, education. Invest in Ed, one word. You go to that site, you make your voice heard. You say, I know this, we fought this fight for many years. But this year, we are going to get it done. And this year, we are coming back here to celebrate justice and fairness in education like never before. Thank you, and God bless you.